picking off where we left off from the previous video. This is the same project, as you can see here, my project. You should be able to see FEventTriggerSystem content and the C++ classes, the editor module, and some real-time module. So I'm just going to make sure I have. Alright, so what you want to do is first you want to run the editor UI module. And as you can see here, it has a refresh button. The refresh button, it will basically pull all the instance of the FE system boxes that is in the current level. And you also have a submit button. So the submit button allows you to lock in any changes or any selections that you have made. The clear button is there to clear any assigned or bind functions or assigned functions that you have assigned to the FE system boxes. And clear all does the same thing as clear, but it basically clears all assigned functions and the level for all instances. So now that you have know a bit about the UI, let's get started. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to right-click, create a blueprint class, and you are looking for FE system boxes. Select it, call it anything that you want. I'm going to call this event boxes. So the first thing that I'm going to do in this blueprint is going to uncheck mark the hidden in game so I'd be able to see my box outline. Make this bigger. And I'm going to create 4 boxes. Now that I have my 4 boxes, I can refresh and it will display my 4 boxes that I have created in the level, as you can see here. We currently do not have any VFX or SFX or function events or functions that we have created for our event trigger boxes. In my event graph, I can either choose to create a function or create a custom event in my event graph, and it will still work the same. But for demonstration purposes, I will be showing you. I'm going to create 3 custom events. These are the function prefixes or event prefixes that allow the editor UI to recognize what functions. Basically, anything with the prefix of VFX underscore, SFX underscore, or FUN underscore will be recognized in the editor UI selection box. I'm going to refresh. And as you can see here, I do have to select a particular BP event box instance. And as you can see, it does display my VFX, my SFX, and my function. If I do have any other events, as you can see here, the editor UI does not recognize any other events that is not the prefix of fun underscore sfx underscore or vfx underscore. So for my VFX, I am going to demonstrate me changing the color of a cube that is in the level editor. And make sure I have my cube. I am creating a static mesh variable, and it will have the type of the static mesh actor. I'm going to make this instance editable. Now, I'm going to make sure that I have a reference to my cube for my event trigger box. I'm going to do the same thing for my second box. On the right-hand side, there are a couple of properties under the Triggers tab. There is an enum just called Event Types, and I can either select from VFX, SFX, or Functional. So if I select SFX, it will basically run any assigned function that is of the type SFX, if that makes any sense. If I assign an SFX function to this box and have my SFX event type set to SFX, then it will call my SFX function. Same applies to VFX and functional. And these variables right here, these are string or F strings, and it basically allows you to see which current function is being assigned to, what instance. So going back to my event graph, I'm going to name this different name. So I'm going to create two functions. So for my VFX green, it will turn the cube green, and for my VFX blue, it will turn the cube blue when the player walks through it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a reference to my static mesh. I am making sure I'm going to validate set vector parameters. I'm going to type in color from my parameter name. I'm going to drag out from my vector pen, and I'm going to type in linear color. So 2-vector linear color. And I'm going to select green. I'm going to copy and paste this for my VFX blue function. But instead, I'm going to change the color from green to blue. So I'll go back into my level editor, click on my FEventTriggerSystem, refresh, and I'm going to make sure that I bind these two or assign these two functions to my first instance and second instance. So for my first instance, I want the player to walk through it and change the cube to blue and hit submit. I'm going to select my second instance and it's going to change the color to green. Now when I hit play and walk through the first box, it changes my cube to blue and it changes my cube to green. If I were to set the event type to be SFX for my first instance, when I hit play and walk through my first instance, nothing happens. And the reason why this happens is because it will basically run basically runs only SFX function, like the SFX function that has been assigned to this blueprint or instance. I am going to switch it back. So now for my SFX and functional. So for my SFX, I am currently, I'll do this. I'm going to call this play sound. I'm going to call play, we'll do a play sound 2D. And I'm going to choose I'll choose Fire 1. Compile. For my third instance, I'm going to change my event type to be SFX because I want to call an SFX function that is assigned to this instance. I'm going to refresh again. Make sure I select my third instance and click on SFX play sound, submit. And now when I walk through here, it plays the fire sound. Now for my functional, I am going to simply count all the way to 100 and then print it out. It's on screen. And I'm going to also put a print statement, type in done. I'm also going to refresh again, make sure I have my fourth instance selected. I'm going to go to my functional and hit submit. And now, my last instance should count. Let's see what's the problem here. Oh, I didn't change the type to functional. There you go. So instead of counting to 100, we're just going to loop and count to 10. So as you can see here, so I can walk into my first two instance, and first two instances changes to cube color. My third instance plays a sound, or counts numbers. And I can close out of my editor, make sure I save current, and reopen my project. Hit the play button again, and everything persists. So this changed the color from green or blue to green. Plays a sound, counts. So I'm going to package this, make sure I have the development build, so I'll be able to see print statements. If I were to select the shipping, it will basically disable all print statements. It won't run it. But yeah. Okay, it seems like it has completed. Going to open my package project. And now it loads. So, as you can recall, if I walk through my first instance of my trigger box, it changes the cube color to blue. My second instance changes the cube color to green. My third instance plays the fire cell. My fourth instance counts to 10. So, thank you for watching.